Good afternoon. My name is Darius White, and I'm here to discuss the master John Coltrane. John Coltrane was born September 23rd, 1926, in Hamburg, North Carolina. And as a child, he was very spiritual, which was unusual for a young man of his age. As a child, he was known to be a loner, and also he felt a spiritual connection to the world that he could not explain. But he would tap into this when it came to dealing with his music. In 1943, he moved to Philadelphia, where he first started using the saxophone. He soon joined the Navy in 1945, and in 1946 was discharged from the Navy and returned to Philadelphia. When he returned to Philadelphia, he met up with another jazz great, Charlie Parker, where he basically was apprenticeship under Charlie Parker. While working with Charlie Parker, he noticed that Charlie Parker was a very intense student of music. He practiced harder than anyone than he ever met, as stated by Robert Greene in his book Mastery. This inspired him to also do the same, and more importantly, it helped him create his own voice, as he didn't just look at music as just playing notes or a source of just entertainment. He looked at it to give his spiritual voice, give his spiritual side a voice to be shared to the world. And while working with Charlie, while during this time, that's when he started taking music theory lessons at night to try to learn more to become a master of his craft. And also, he used to practice harder than that anyone that around. Now, the greatest gift that Robert Greene stated was that John Coltrane was very patient when it come to learning his craft. I find this interesting because Robert Greene states that impatience is the greatest detriment to creativity. John Coltrane was very patient when it came to learning everything he needed to know, taking music classes, mentoring on Charlie Parker, and just practicing to get perfect in every way his music could be. To me, this is a this is the great sign of a man that takes his craft seriously, and a man that I try to apply to my own craft. If there were two questions I could ask John Coltrane if he was alive to this day and I was interviewing him, it'd be one: what was it like to work with masters such as Miles Davis, Charlie Parker, and Thelonious Monk? And two, how did he truly find his own voice and cultivate his own craft into making this art form as his own? Also, I find it interesting that Robert Greene states the seven deadly sins to becoming a master. One of them he says is envy, which I don't believe John Coltrane was necessarily guilty of, because he soon has shown that he could work with other masters, like Miles Davis and Charlie Parker, and learn from them and grow. Also, another deadly sin was laziness, which I also do not believe that he was guilty of, because as Robert Greene states, that he will practice so hard that his reeds have blood on them for the intense amount of practice that he did. Like lazy, that's something somebody that's not evidence of somebody that's also lazy. And also, he was never rigid. John Coltrane adapted many forms of music into his own style. John Coltrane resonates with me because, well, for one, Robert Greene states that he's a loner, and I'm kind of a loner. And number two, he was a Navy guy. I was also in the Navy. And number three, also feel that John Coltrane did what many of the greatest masters do, as people do that become masters and leaders in their field, and that they bring something new to the field, that they help revolutionize their field, and they basically create a new path, a new vision for people to follow, instead of just being a follower. They were trendsetters. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for letting me share.